Alright, today guys, we about to be watching the 7 levels of high. Me personally, I don't spark up, I don't smoke the weed, but I know a couple people, you know who you are. We make the inside joke all the time, you know who you is. But we about to be watching the 7 levels, so this is about to be very educational to the people that don't know, as of myself, so let's get right into the video.
7 levels of being high that you may experience while smoking. And although no two people will have the exact same experience from weed, this should give you a general idea of what to expect. For level 1, we have toasted. You'll be feeling like a warm sourdough roll. At this level, you'll still be able to function normally, but you'll just be a little bit more giggly, and you'll have a slight mind and body relaxation. This is the optimal level of high if you need to do normal person stuff, but you want a slight mood boost. For level 2, we have baked. You are officially high, but it's not affecting you too much. At this level, objects start to seem more significant. Yeah, I don't really know how to put it any other way than that, but I mean, look at that object. Tell me that doesn't look more significant. Thoughts become more random, but you can kind of wrangle them back in and stop your mind from wandering too far. This is a good socially functional level of high. If you're with people and you don't want shit to get weird, stay around this level. For level 3, we have roasted. All mental faculties now require more focus and energy. At this point, your internal monologue starts to get louder. You know how you just heard your own voice in your head reading those words? Well, when you're sober, you think your thoughts quietly, if that makes sense. But when you're roasted, you think your thoughts louder. Also, at this point, sentences are very difficult to form and require expert planning and precision to execute. Next up, we have level 4, sauteed. Sentences are relics of the past. It now requires all of your energy just to form words. That's right. Sound it out, buddy. Water. This is the point where you put something in the microwave for 5 minutes and you stand there watching your food cook for the entire time.
Why the fuck is a random ass door?
Microwave off? Yeah, they really should have like a midnight stoner mode for microwaves. Level 5 is known as stony baloneyed. This is when paranoia starts to set in. If you're with other people, avoid eye contact. You will get your soul stolen. This is also when you can become hyper analytic of every thought you have and every action you take. Am I walking funny? Is it weird to have the thought that I just had? What about that one? Or this one? Am I my thoughts? Or am I the thing that is thinking the thoughts? No, I'm me. You're just a thought. No, I'm actually you. You aren't you. It's me. This is also the point when I normally feel like I'm just a little goblin inside my own head, watching TV through my eyeballs. At level 6, you have the Kush coma. Right before you enter a Kush coma, it can feel like your heart is about to beat out of your chest. At this stage, it's very common to experience weed paralysis, where you just kind of get so high that like you're stuck or you're frozen. I actually have a funny little story about this. One time my friend was throwing a party and we went out to the park next to his house to smoke weed, but he said he was going to take a few extra rips and that he would meet us back at his house in a few minutes, but he ended up getting too high and he just became frozen on that bench for like multiple hours, like a few hours, while the party just continued at his house. He wasn't even there for his own party. At some point he booted back up like a lagging 90s Dell computer and he was good as new, but you know, sometimes you just need like a few hours on a bench alone at night before like you're ready to go back to a social situation, so you know, keep that in mind. And last but not least is number 7, the final form of every stoner, the most sacred of all highs, zooted. You will be feeling like a cryptocurrency, man. Telepathy is now activated, as you no longer require mouth noises to communicate. This is where you start to experience frame rate drops in your vision. Your graphics card is overheated. You can't even sustain 60 FPS at this point. This is when you eat a pizza roll and you feel every individual muscle fiber of your esophagus expanding and contracting as it travels down your throat. You're way past couch lock. You and the couch are now merged with each other on a molecular level. Where do I end and the couch begins, you ask? The answer is yes. Well, anyways, that's it for today.
Alright, we just reviewed a very educational video. Now it's time to get off the education and start watching some funny stuff. So we got Bruce, dude. Bro, this is one of the funniest guys I've seen in a minute, bro. He be saying the most funny jokes. Like, he would say something like, you jumping like a cockroach or some shit. Like, it's just mad funny, bro.
All right, I was a big fan of airsoft guns when I was a kid. If you don't know what an airsoft gun is, well, it's a plastic gun that kind of bridges the gap between a Nerf gun and a semi-automatic rifle. You shoot little plastic
Caught me one the other
BBs,
day.
and after about a week, your whole house
Walk
is
down,
riddled
Jay
with them.
coming
Your
on.
dad's dumping them out of the toaster. Your sister's digging them out of her ass crack. You just go around shooting a bunch of holes in all the lampshades. And I was the first kid on my block to get an airsoft gun. Brought it out to show off to everybody. They're all mesmerized. I could conquer the whole goddamn world with this thing. My buddy David literally took it out of my hand, and he's like, "Oh, sweet, this is sweet." David, what the fuck? It was
Bro,
my turn to
was you
shoot
with
Michael in the
Michael, bruh?
face. It was a bit of a trendsetter, I gotta say, because like a week later, every kid on the block had an airsoft gun. They didn't have a normal airsoft gun like I did. They had this fucking battery-powered M16 tactical shit, fully automatic,
gonna
get
whoop.
shot in the face 30 times in 4 seconds.
Damn.
Hold on a damn minute. Jesus, I'm using this Stone Age piece of crap. My shit looks like a Happy Meal toy compared to yours. Michael's over there. Doesn't even have an airsoft gun. He's like shooting BBs through a fucking straw like it's a blowgun. He's wearing his puffy-ass winter coat in the middle of July, his body armor. There'd always be somebody out of ammo trying to call timeout. Wait a minute, timeout! Bitch, there ain't no timeout in airsoft! You get home with a bunch of red welts all over your body like somebody gave you a smallpox blanket. I eventually upgraded my arsenal, threw my handgun out, and purchased a big old sniper rifle. Thing's bigger than my entire body. Big ass scope on top of it like I was gonna assassinate a public official. Sure, it didn't shoot fast like the other ones, but that thing had some power. My friends hiding behind a car and shit. I just shoot through the fucking car. First weekend I got that rifle, shot my cousin in the back. The following weekend we had a closed casket funeral for him. Now, on one particular day, we were playing Capture the Flag. And it's important to note at this time, they didn't put the big ass orange tips on these guns like they do nowadays. Let you know it's a fake gun. No, they just dab a bit of orange nail polish on the end of that bitch, call it a day. And that kind of makes it a little hard for your neighbors to determine if you're outside playing or if you're committing an act of domestic terrorism. Yeah, hi, 911. There's a child with a deer rifle and he's running amok in the streets. So I'm sitting there at my base, which is David's front yard. I'm peeking through my scope like I'm about to put Lyndon B. Johnson into office, and I'm on the lookout for David. Now, where's David at? Well, David has ADHD, so he's not at his base, and he's not at my base. Hell, I don't even know if he even knew he was playing at the time. Probably forgot all about it, chasing a butterfly and shit. Now, David decides to walk to one of the busiest streets in the city and wave around what looks to be an automatic assault rifle in the air. Well, imagine David's surprise when about 4 seconds later, a goddamn paddy wagon pulls up in front of him. A bunch of cops pile out. They got their guns drawn on this completely oblivious, attention deficit child. Now, I wasn't there. I was around the block waiting to shoot David in the teeth with my Kennedy killer. But I bet that turd in his pants was massive. Well, it didn't take him long to figure out that David's gun wasn't real. Luckily, he wasn't massacred on the street right there and then. They load his ass in the back of the wagon, like the wild animal that he is, and they pull up to the front of his house. Now, I was there for this part, and I can say for sure that the turd in my pants was massive. One cop gets out and he's like, "Put that goddamn rifle down!" So I threw it like the gun was on fire. Dave comes out of the back of the truck looking like a shitty Dennis the Menace cartoon. "The hell do you think you kids are doing?" We're just playing." "Why's that kid wearing that puffy ass coat? It's 94 degrees outside." David's mom comes running out like they're filming an episode of Law and Order in her front yard. Instead of getting a chance to meet Ice-T, she's got to deal with this bullshit. Now, the cops were really cool about this whole shitty situation. They gave David's mom our arsenal of plastic weapons, and they're all like, "Well, we could have murdered your kid and got away with it, but, well, we didn't, so you're welcome. Why don't you give him a wiffle ball bat or some shit to play with instead? Jesus Christ." So the moral of the story is, don't be a fucking idiot waving a weapon around in the street.
Bruce, dude.
Very educational video, complete at times.